Welcome to JustWannaQuilt, a research podcast coming out of Tulane University Law School, where we explore all kinds of things, stories about quilting, tools, field trips, maybe some famous quilters stop by, and, of course, a little bit of copyright thrown in just for fun. This is Elizabeth Townsend-Gard, your host, and I'm a law professor at Tulane University Law School and a faculty fellow at the A.B. Friedman School of Business at Tulane. And I just want to quilt. So continuing today with our series from Dr. Ron Gard's new Media and Internet Studies course, we're going to talk to Jordan, who's going to talk to us about creating a following.
I'm Jordan Santarella, and I'm calling from New Orleans, Louisiana.
Awesome.
And I'm a student at Tulane University, a senior.
You're a senior?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Is it hard to keep going? Not yet. You haven't gotten to that point.
I still have a semester left.
Cool. And what are you majoring in?
Communication.
You are.
And Italian.
And accounting, is that what you said?
Italian.
Awesome. Love it. That's really great. Awesome. All right. So you were part of Dr. Gard's class of New Media and Internet Studies, and you've been looking at each of you were assigned different, or you chose different aspects of the Just Wanna Quilt project to look at, and you focused on building a following. Now, before we get to that, I have to ask you one more question, which is, do you have any memory of anyone sewing or quilting in your life?
Yes, my grandma made me a quilt for my graduation present for high school.
So we just talked to somebody who had a grandmother who made that, and she had 10 grandkids and 37 great-grandkids and made them each quilts like that.
Oh my God.
I know, that's what I thought. Isn't that insane? So Tell me a little bit about the quilt that your grandmother made you.
It's made out of sweatshirts from my championship swim meets that I attended over my decade of competitive swimming.
Oh, how cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Did you know she was making it? Was it a surprise, or did you help design it?
I didn't help design it, but I knew she was making it because I had to give her the sweatshirts that I wanted to be included.
Yeah? And
so I had so many to choose from, yeah.
And how did it turn out?
Really well.
Yeah.
I love it. It's really warm and it reminds me of home when I miss my grandma and my parents and sister. So
that's nice. That's what the quilt's kind of for, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, very cool. Well, we have this ridiculous project, as you know, called Just Wanna Quilt, and we are trying to understand all kinds of things. We're trying to understand, first, I always like to quilt, but we're trying to understand social media and podcasts and sort of this phenomenon. And so picking quilting was just kind of it could have been anything. Ron probably wanted it to be bikes because he's way into biking. But no, it's quilting. So tell me, you were building a following. So tell me what, let's start with the lay of the land question, which is, and you did a little video, but we're going to kind of be a little more, your video was awesome. We'll add that as a link. But tell me, why do you need to build, who cares if people listen to the podcast? Why do you need to build an audience?
You need to build an audience to increase your reach and to be able to sell your product or the content that you're trying to sell or put out.
Right.
And I think it's important to post the content that you're interested in, but also that attracts an audience that you want to attract.
Right. So it's interesting because attracting an audience and metrics and numbers and people following, it's kind of the whole thing. People really care about those things. I mean, you could just do a podcast and not care at all. But there is a sense of who's listening, how many numbers, blah, 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 blah. There's just a lot. That's the thing right now is tracking the metrics of how popular or not popular you are.
Exactly. I think that especially with my generation, late teens, early 20s, building a following, whether or not you're have a product or a blog or anything that you want to get out there to share
it's always
what
about that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
what you want or is important to you. You need to have followers to get somewhere, if you want to end up getting somewhere in that like business or
Or
world.
just your personal life. So do you feel like,
Yeah,
do you have, what
exactly.
kind of social media accounts do you have personally?
I have Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And do you care about your followings on those?
I care more about my following on Instagram because I think that's like the main social media platform that my generation uses, and that's where I see like everything that my friends do, and like I follow celebrities and like other companies that I like their products and stuff.
Yeah.
I
And
feel like Facebook's kind of fading because of all the issues it's having,
yeah.
and then Twitter I feel is more like, I don't know if it's for like comics, but I feel like you see more um, comedy and like within the tweet because you can only have a certain amount of characters and stuff. While Instagram, you see photos, and now you can do live videos and you can do Instagram TV. It has like so much more content aspects to it that I feel
Yeah.
like it's the best way to like promote a product or
Instagram is like
starting a
really the
business
place.
and all that.
Yeah, we're starting to do Instagram. I've been resistant mostly because I'm just really tired. So the idea of like, I don't know. Like, do you feel like, is it exhausting? Do you just feel like as part of your generation, like it just comes naturally? Or do you feel exhausted by all of it?
I don't post as often as like other friends do or family members. So I'm not that exhausted by it, but I know that like people think they should post a photo every day just to show going on in their life or like, yeah, I don't know. I think it depends on the type of person you are and like whether or not you really care about,
About
I guess,
what?
your own brand or
Yeah,
the
that's the
brand that you're
thing.
trying to promote.
Right. So do you feel the pressure? So we talk, there's that whole thing Ron probably told you in the class, this whole like a kid saying, not our kid, but just like sort of a hypothetical kid saying that they were not going to eat broccoli because it's not part of their self brand. Like, do
Hmm.
you feel like you as a person have a lot of pressure to brand yourself with these social media platforms? Like that's part of who you are as a generation?
I really do feel that way, that there's a pressure and it's part of our generation now. Because we're always on our phones, and that's how I don't like, that's how you keep up with your friends, especially like being in college and away from home. It's like the only way that you can, besides texting or calling them, to see what's going on in their lives and for them to see what's going on in your lives. So
How
you
does
want to
it
post what you feel is important, but also that your friends and family would want to see.
So do you feel like, so this is really interesting. So do you, I know we'll get to the following thing in just a second, I promise. But does it feel like you change a lot in your life? Do you feel like you can morph into, like, do you just live your life authentically? And if like something's different, like I can't imagine, first of all, I just can't imagine like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine being in high school and have like, that's just like, that's a lot. Like I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you're now at the end of college, but you've lived your life on social media, most of it, I would
Mhm.
imagine. Like you're
Yeah.
like
It started in like when I was in middle school, like all the social media platforms. Instagram might have been like freshman year of high school. I remember last semester I actually deleted photos from like when I first got Instagram because I was like, what did I even post this for? Like it didn't make any sense.
yeah.
So I guess it's like me trying to figure out my branding, even though it was like so long ago.
Yeah.
I still don't want my followers going that far back to see like the stupid stuff that I had posted as a 15-year-old.
So don't you think it's weird that we do have a brand and followers? I think
Yeah,
it's really
I
weird,
do.
right? It's weird. All right. So with that in mind, we all in our world seem to need or want or are required to have some sort of following or audience, whether it's our personal blog or a company or a nonprofit or whatever it is, or some sort of thing of like, well, how many likes do you have? How many people follow you? How many, all these, that's pressure, 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 pressure. Tell us a little bit about tell us a little bit of what you learned and sort of focusing on creating a following.
Well, I learned that businesses have always needed to build a following to be able to sell their products and content, but it became a bigger deal when the internet was created and with the creation of the social media platforms.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the social media platforms help the businesses promote their products and content a lot easier
Yeah.
because the platforms are free and if they aren't free, they're cheap.
Yeah.
And then they also don't have to pay advertising for advertising purposes.
Yeah.
Which is like a big deal for like small businesses and like entrepreneurship and building startups and all that stuff.
Right. So you looked at a couple of like the big people who have huge followings. So tell us a little bit about Kylie Cosmetics.
Well, Kylie Cosmetics was only started in 2016, I'm pretty sure. And she, this past summer, was already set to be named the youngest self-made billionaire by Forbes.
Amazing. Okay,
which
so
is like
tell
a
us who,
big
just in
deal
case, because, you know, not everybody
time.
might, right, not everyone might know what
But
that is.
the
What is
Kardashians.
Kylie Cosmetics?
Kylie Cosmetics was created by Kylie Jenner, who is the daughter of now Caitlyn Jenner and Kris Kardashian, still known as Kris Jenner. And she started making these things called lip kits because people were accusing her of using lip fillers. So she took that to her advantage and started a makeup company out of it, basically. And now she sells other makeup products, but her main product is still lip kits. And it's basically like lip gloss and lip liner that comes in a box.
Got it. And it was a smash hit, right? The followers, like their followers and the company.
A huge hit. Yes. And I think not only did her celebrity help her with her company, but I really do think that her own following on Instagram, which is 120 million followers, has helped. Has helped so much because, like, I follow her, and though she posts content for the fans who don't really care about her makeup brand, but then she also posts so much content for her makeup brand on her personal Instagram account to promote like launches. And like she just recently posted a huge launch for her holiday line, and it was on Instagram for a couple of days, but like it didn't bother me that it was there because she's also posting all her other stuff that keeps me intrigued in what she's up to.
Interesting. Right, so you expect that, but you also have other stuff. Like if she was just doing that, that would be bad. But you get that that's part of what she's going to do.
That's why she has that's why the company has its own Instagram where she can just put that stuff.
Got it.
And her company still has 18.4 million followers, which is more than like some celebrities have in general on their personal accounts, which is insane.
That is totally insane. Yeah. All right, tell us about KKW Beauty.
Okay, KKW Beauty was created by Kim Kardashian, who is obviously the biggest Kardashian on the planet. But she is really into makeup and has always been, and is really good at contouring and highlighting. So she decided to build a business around those two features while also making other makeup products. And she does like the same stuff that Kylie does, not on like Kylie's level, but like high enough level that like people buy her products because they follow her on Instagram. Like today I was on her Instagram and she had a pop-up store, I'm pretty sure in New York, for her KKW Beauty brand.
Interesting.
And it was all over her story, and she like met fans at the mall or wherever it was set up.
Uh-huh. And then
was,
tell us about Good American.
Good American was the smallest company that I looked at the Kardashian empire, and it was created by Khloe Kardashian, who's the youngest sister on the Kardashian side. But her company is really interesting because it's like one of the only companies that has like size inclusivity from like 00 to 24 sizes, which is like really great for women these days. And though her like following's not as huge as her sister's, it's still a lot of followers for a company and for a celebrity.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean,
and the same thing that Kim and Kylie do as well.
So
and all three companies grew so quickly in a short period of time because of their social following.
And this TV show, and just like they had a whole thing, so that they already had a base to start selling. So do you think that that is a strategy for, say, our little teeny tiny thing of like create a base and then have product? I mean, is that seems to be the story here that we're seeing in these examples?
Yeah, I think you have to create your base first and then hope that they would also be interested in your product, or create a product that you think your base will be interested in.
Yeah. because they each had something that other people, that they saw that there was sort of market failure, or that there wasn't something that people, they really needed. They knew their base well. And so they also was true to them, that there was an authenticity to what they were selling.
Yeah, they were all interested in selling what they are now selling.
Yeah.
Chloe was not overweight, but she was like bigger compared to her sisters, and then lost all that weight. So she wanted to do clothing to empower women of all sizes. And then Kim and Kylie are both really into makeup, so they built something off of that interest as well.
It's really interesting. Well, I mean, and that says that like building trust and having a group that like feels like they really believe in what you're doing. And do they interact with their fans much, or is it one way?
Over the social media, I guess like the interaction with their fans is through the Instagram videos, and they do pop-up shops, or like Kylie just got a deal with Ulta Beauty, this huge beauty store, to sell her stuff. So she recently went there and like did a meet and greet there. And I don't think it's one-sided, because I think the fans like expect them to post what they do post.
Yeah.
And it is for the fans. I don't think they're posting it just for their benefit. They know that it's what the fans want.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And they're celebrities. I mean, that's kind of where they started at, as celebrities. So part of the draw of the brand is the celebrityness of,
yeah, it's the celebrity name behind the face.
Yeah. And we see that with quilting. I know it's hard to believe there are quilt celebrities, and you see kind of the draw of when they are going to have product or do things that people get excited about it because they follow them and they like them and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, this is super interesting. Anything else that we should know about in terms of followings?
Well, one thing that I found interesting that was really hard for me to find 3 companies that didn't have like a following, because I feel like if you're a company, you're going to have followers, but especially with social media these days, like you can really mess up your company or bring down your following if you like do like make one mistake or have one slip. Like for example, when Pepsi had that commercial with Kendall Jenner, I don't know why it's all Kardashians, but it is. But it was like the Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Right. Show the commercial, they pulled it so quickly,
people didn't feel like
that,
it was
really
authentic,
brought down the brand.
Right? People just didn't think it was authentic, and they just felt it was fake, right?
Yeah, and they also just didn't like the message behind it. Like that's not what. Yeah, it just didn't make sense.
Yeah,
and that's just like a branding issue that you should have like gone over and ran through before you actually like made it a thing. And but so I really do think that like I feel like you either. Social media is so unpredictable, so you can either gain or lose followers in an instant. So it really depends on doing like everything right, I guess, if that makes sense.
Well, it seems like you just have to be authentic to who you are. That's what people get dinged for. Like the reason that commercial was so like people didn't like it is because it felt so fake, and that's what they didn't like. It seems like if you're true to yourself and your brand, you're okay, I guess. I don't know. It's a bit Wild West out there.
Yeah. One of the main fundamentals that I found was that like you need to be unique and like be consistent with your content and be visible. And then those are like the top 3 things you need to do when building a following. I think that if you do those 3 things, you'll have a pretty successful following / brand /
Yeah. And do you feel like getting back to sort of the personal, that's also something for those that are out there just building sort of who they are or whatever, that's the same message for, like we've talked about, like super famous people and then just regular people. Do you think it's the same for regular people?
I think it is the same for regular people, because like you can be the type of person whose life is so interesting that you can post a photo every day, but then that's just part of that person's brand. But then you can also have someone who doesn't post very often, but then when they do post, it's like a big deal, and that's like their brand.
Yeah. Like
I think it just really depends on who you are and like the brand that you're trying to build.
Yeah.
And to show people like, I guess, your social media self, but it should also be your like true authentic self as well.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting, isn't it? We live in like a very authentic time where people just want you to be real. Like, they don't really care whether your hair is combed, but
Mm-hmm.
they don't want you to not pretend to be fake. You know what I mean? Like, they want you to be real, you know?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Interesting, isn't it? Very
It is.
interesting.
Because then social media could also mask the real you as well. So it contradicts each other, what
Yeah.
people want and what actually happens.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it? Like, the characters that you perform, the how people see you may not be how you feel necessarily. It's really
Yes,
interesting.
exactly.
Well, I really like our conversation. This is awesome. Any parting words? Any last things? Don't be scared of social media, right? Just do it.
Yeah, don't be scared of it. And I would say, is for Just Wanna Quilt, try to increase your Instagram, because I really do think that's like the main
Totally.
social media platform.
Oh my god, people are
I
so
really do-
mad at me because I'm always
Facebook,
just
I
like.
really think Facebook is going downhill fast.
I know. We're doing more. It's like, that's I always put it off. So maybe this holiday will I know it's not that big a deal. I don't know.
And it's not hard either. It's like way easier than people expect it to be too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Well,
would
I
just-
will
I would
take
say
you.
don't be scared, and just make sure your social media platforms have the content that you want to be out there and the content your followers want to see.
Yeah.
And obviously be unique and be yourself.
Yeah. Which is funny, right? Because I don't know. Sometimes you don't feel like you're that unique.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I'm extraordinarily average. That's my thing. No, I'm just kidding. Well, you're delightful. Thank you so much for spending time with us. This is really great. Do you want to review it before I post it, or are you okay having it posted?
I'm fine having it posted.
You're awesome. Well, thank you
you.
again. I really
I love
appreciate it.
podcasts, so I was excited to do this. So.
Awesome. Well, we'll send you a link. You'll be able to send it on to your family and others and all that.
Okay,
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. All right. Take care.
You too.
Bye. So you've been listening to Just Wanna Quilt, a research podcast coming out of Tulane University Law School. And I'm Elizabeth Townsend Guard. If you like this podcast, keep listening. Also, we have a Facebook group. Come join us. We talk about a lot of things. We also have an Instagram account. And of course, most importantly, I really hope you get a chance to quilt today.